Hello. I'm Forrest and I've got a problem. A problem. How's it going, everybody? I already said the counter's at 1. Thanks for being here. Hope you're enjoying the new format. It's been 1 episode, but now it's going to be 2. Remember at the end of last episode, I said I was going to send the questions ahead of time? I barely did, maybe by 4 minutes, but I will the next time. It's been a bit of a hectic week. I'll get into that in a second. But thanks for listening. Anybody that has told other people to listen, appreciate it. People have been telling me, I've told other people to listen. So-and-so needs it because their friend is an addict. I don't know. If they need the podcast, that's great. You don't have to be an addict to listen to it, although maybe it gets boring. I don't know. I just do the thing. I put it out there. Comments, rating, following, please do all that. If you're following me on one platform, follow me on another one. I don't know why that matters. I'm not going to do these ads. I can't. There's no ads I can do. Everything's for booze and gambling and dick pills. Is dick pills okay on an addiction podcast? Like I said, I'm never going to do advertisements. If you want to donate to the podcast, that's fine. Go to forrestshaw.net. There's a donate button above the podcast section. Appreciate everybody that sent money so far. And that goes all back into the podcast. And my tummy. No, that's not true. God damn it. That's 2. I don't even know. That's the second one I remember on the counter. Call in 305 Joe Rang. I only had a few calls. I honestly, you don't have to. I would, if you want to call it with a question, I think that'd be great. People have been emailing me stuff, but I like the audio format since it's a podcast. But I'll do that again where I answer questions, probably when I'm doing a solo show. I haven't checked the comments all yet. I'm going to do a comment corner, but I appreciate that. In the meantime, let's get into it with everyone's favorite segment. I've got another problem. I've got another problem. Guess what? Repeat, remix, whatever you want to say. Airline ticket pricing. It's only been a few weeks since I talked about the piece of shit that the airlines are and this price gouging bullshit they get away with. I put that clip up. It did quite well. A couple comedian friends shared it for me. And then there was like one comment, supply and demand, bud. It's not supply and demand. They could, I know this might sound like communism, but they could charge the same amount for all the seats. They're going to sell out the plane no matter what, because they still sell out the plane and the people at the end have to pay more. And you're like, oh, well, they're getting it in early, so they get a deal. It's not how it should work. Case in point, not to be a downer right away. But this past week, and I think this episode is coming out probably maybe 2 weeks after this happened, my dad died. I found out that my dad died, and I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the podcast, actually. But time's different in this podcast, but I am currently going to have to fly to Georgia, and he was in Alabama at the end of his life, and I have to drive there. I have to do a bunch of driving and flying. So, of course, it's a last second flight as discussed. And guess how much the tickets are? A fucking shit ton. So I was able to get a really cheap ticket on the way there. There's something called skip lagged, if nobody knows, has ever heard of that, where some kid that the airline sued, by the way, and then he won. He figured out that sometimes if you're going to fly, for instance, me from LAX, Los Angeles to Atlanta, it's going to cost $600 or $700. But if you fly the same flight, but then you're saying, I'm going to go all the way to Palm Beach, which is what I'm saying, guess what it costs? $198, because they want you to go to all their little hubs, and they probably have deals with the airport and all that crap. So I bought a ticket to go to Palm Beach for $198. The trick is you can't check in luggage. You got to do a carry-on. You got to make sure that's not getting checked in. So I have status on Delta. I'm going to board first. I'll have room for my carry-on. I'm not worried about it. So you just get off the plane in Atlanta and get a refund from the other, or they give you a credit for the rest of the flight. This is not anything that's illegal. There's an app you can download. They went to court. They tried to sue this kid, and he's like, I'm not making any money, and they won. So you can't skip lag back on the way from Atlanta to LAX because you're not going to cut through LAX to get anywhere. At least on the app, it says that. So the flight back was $740 one way. And I fly Delta primarily. And I chose to fly one airline because you get benefits from them. So I called them up and I said, hey, I heard that you have a discount for, they call bereavement. If somebody dies in the family and you have to go take care of some business or a funeral or whatever like that. And the guy goes, yeah, no, we definitely have that. Let me calculate what that's going to be. And the ticket that was $700 or $720, I forget what it was. 10%. That's what they take off. 10%. 10% is like, I know it's something, but it's like 10% is what you give somebody that just signed up for like a rewards program or something at Starbucks or something. Hey, we're going to give you 10% off your next order. Like 10% is fucking garbage. And especially on a ticket, like the guy was saying it like, oh, you'll be happy to hear this. It's $700, but now it's only $630. Ooh, so cheap. And they got you against the wall because I got to fly there. I can't not fly, or I got to fly back. Got to get back for the Shawsome show at the Improv on the 25th. Yeah, I've said I'm like 55 times now. And I said to him, it's my dad died. He doesn't know that I wasn't very close with my dad. He said, no, I just said my dad died. And there's like, yeah, it's a thing. Like, again, just absolute scumbaggery that they did. By the way, I'm not just anybody at Delta. I'm about to be a million miler very soon. I've flown a fucking million miles, these people. I've spent that much money with their dumb airline. I've had this medallion status. I've been platinum or diamond. That might not mean anything to you. It just means I fly a lot. For like the last 15 years, I've been one of those. You would think they'd look at that and look it up, and then they'd be like, oh, it's your dad. There should be some sliding scale. If it's just an aunt or a cousin or something like that, maybe that's 10%. But if it's like dad, mom, maybe, grandparents, brother, sister, 50% seems like it might be good. Or just, hey, we got a standard fare. You fly anywhere in the country for $300. I'm not saying you got to give it to me for free, but 10% is just fucking. So sliding scale based on how close you were to them. Well, maybe not that, because I wasn't really close with my dad. So they'd be like, it's your dad, but you didn't know him. So we're actually going to charge you more. Anyways, fuck them. Fuck the airlines. Fuck Delta. I got to fly Spirit back. I got to fly Spirit Airlines. If you don't live in this country and you listen to this podcast, Spirit Airlines sucks. There's no leg room. You have to pay for your bags. But this is how cheap Spirit is. I got a seat where they block out the middle seat. So that's like you and the window in the aisle. That's how they do first class in Europe. Most of the short flights I've been on in Europe, it's just like we blocked out the middle seat, which I'm cool with. That's awesome. I like that. So I got that seat with a checked bag, like all this stuff. And I think it was like $200 or $180. I called Spirit. I'm like, do you have a bereavement plan? And they said, you got to buy the ticket, then call someone, and then they'll see what they can do. They're such a fucking budget airline, but they managed to somehow buy brand new planes, by the way. I think they have the newest fleet. And anyways, fuck you, Delta. Fuck you. All right. It's enough of that. We got a great guest today, Dustin Chafin. Happy to have him on. We had a nice conversation. I think I interrupted him a couple times, stepped on a few jokes. Sorry to you guys. Sorry to Dustin. Anyways, check this out. I'll talk a little bit more about my dad on the other end if you care. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. I'm here today with Dustin Chafin. Dustin is a comedian and a writer. You can find him on Instagram at Dustin_Chafin. That's CHAFIN. And he's got his dates on there if you want to see him live. He also just did an episode of WTF with Mark Maron. So look for that to come out. Listen to that. And also he's got his own podcast called Chasing Comedy. Thanks for being here, Dustin.
Hey, buddy. Nice to be here. This is great.
What is Chasing Comedy?
It's a podcast I do with another comedian, Brian Scott McFadden. He's like a voiceover comic. He was the bee for the Cheerios commercial, and like he's done Ice Age, and like he's a big comic, does all kinds of voices. His dad did like the Thundercats voices and stuff, and so we have a lot of fun talking about that stuff. But it's basically we write bits on the podcast. Like we kind of go from like, hey, I got this idea, and we kind of bounce each other off, and like actually, go from premise and idea to actual joke and finish out material. And so
that's
what
fun
we do.
because everybody always asks you that, like, how do you come up with your? So just listen to Chasing Comedy.
Yeah,
That's how we come up.
But that's the thing, comics. We're always writing. I was like, might as well make it a podcast.
Yeah,
it's like we're always
smart. Yeah,
passing material back and forth. So it's kind of like that thing. Like two comics in a diner going, okay, I got this thing. What do you think? So
have you ever done any voiceover?
It's funny. I did something for the Lincoln Project.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you know what that is, but
I do. Yeah,
that was supposed to be the answer.
Yeah, everyone was like, "These are the Republicans against Trump. This will show them."
Yeah.
And
then
like,
they had all these skeletons and all this craziness happen. But yeah, I haven't done a lot of that stuff. Mostly just a bang around comic. Like I'm the guy that's just still standing after thousands of years doing this, but mostly just live stand up is where I excel in, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard. I have every time anyone meets me for the first time, like, you should do voiceover, as if it's like the same thing as like, you should be on SNL. I've tried, but I got in, like, I'm doing it currently. I have a reel and I do auditions and stuff, but I'm at the open mic level of voiceover, so
yeah, you got to bring people to your audition.
Yeah, you got to buy your own ads, record them. So, but when I hear anybody like that, I'm always jealous of them. But you know how it is, the grass is always greener type thing. You're like, man, it's so cool. But that is cool.
Yeah, it's interesting with him because it's kind of a lineage. Like it just went from dad to son. Like he was also like an Eminem. Like the whole thing is crazy. Yeah, like
Nepo baby.
It's in his blood. It's in his blood. I mean, Nepo is the way to go. I wish my parents, if I wanted to sell used cars, then I could be a Nepo baby because that's what my family was about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. I ask this every podcast. What's your problem?
What is my problem? I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. I think it's everybody but me, right? Isn't that the answer?
Sure. Yeah.
Everything but me, everybody but me. I don't know, specific problem. I don't, just basic self-doubt and anxiety, I think is like something that's, but I'm getting better at it. I feel like I'm working on my problem, which, laziness is probably number one. Just it's like that. We all have the same brain, that same ADHD brain, where you're just like, got all this stuff, projects, scripts, things, whatever, and then Love Island's on, and then you're just gone, and then you're just in this thing. Or my dog, let's go to the park. Dog needs exercise, and then it's 2 hours later. I'm hanging with the dog instead of like, kind of focusing in. I think that's, focus and just that kind of stuff. Just lazy.
I mean, dog's better than Love Island, I would say, but yeah.
Well, I watch it with my girlfriend. I'm not going to lie. She got me into it, and I resisted it. But I tell you this, say all you want. It's pretty gratifying watching attractive people get rejected. Like, it's pretty great. Like, they finally know what that feeling is, and it's pretty amazing to watch them process it. It's guys are just jacked, and they're just crying over a chick. I mean, that's never happened in their life. And to watch it in real time is pretty great. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, I knew nothing about it, but that would be the hook that they should say.
Oh, yeah. For us regular people that's just been, stepped on by women and, heartbroken, like that's how you get to us.
I've got nice eyes. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what I've been told.
Eyes. So, yeah, you're hiding them through those glasses. You got to let them free.
I got to read though. I got to I turn it down so I don't have a glare. It's a whole.
Are you in Canada or something? Are you in Canada or something?
Why? I missed the whole reference.
No, is that where you are? I mean, I'm asking. I don't know.
No, I'm in LA.
Oh, you are in LA. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an LA comic. Okay, I figured. I think Barry. Do you do comedy records?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm on that too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. The Barry thing confused me, and I just assumed you were a Canadian comic. Okay, I got it.
Oh, because I'm recording on Riverside. You see Barry, right?
Yeah, he did 2 of my albums. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. We're just talking shit that nobody cares about. I'm using Comedy Records Riverside app to record this podcast. That's what
Oh,
I
okay.
do.
Yeah. That's what confused me. Sorry,
And
guys. I didn't
so
mean
it's
to.
our buddy Barry Taylor from Comedy Records. Support Comedy Records.
Yay, good
Only
dude.
good comedians on there, and
Yeah.
they're the best. They honestly, I don't even have to like make that up. I've been in this business long enough to know the good and the bad people. Comedy Records are good people. So,
Oh yeah. And they got a basketball team. I mean, come on.
yeah. Well, I don't know if it's a basketball team. It's a basketball event with.
Hey, I got a jersey. That was a pretty big deal for me. I never.
Oh
got,
yeah, that's right. I know you're talking about on the roster. We're sort
yeah,
of a team.
nobody
Yeah, I thought you
ever
meant the
gave me a.
locker room.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, they do actually try to play, but there's always.
He listens to this podcast for sure, so I'm gonna have to edit all this out. I'm gonna keep it in. Hey Barry.
I don't think he cares. You got,
but not Canadian at all. I thought it was something to do with the glasses or something. I was like, what happened with my accent? Or?
No, you're good. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail everything. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's very casual. This podcast, trust me. So we were talking right before we started recording, and you said you just had an anniversary.
I did. Let's see where we go. 17 years, baby. 17 years, clean and sober. Clean and
Congratulations,
sober.
Man.
Yeah, I think so.
17.
I'm not quite that happy, but it is definitely better sober.
Yeah, I mean, 17 years is a long time, man. That's quite an accomplishment.
That's a long time.
I was trying to guess in my head. I was going to go 9 or 10, but 17 is a big one. And
yeah, it's a teenager with attitude. I mean, that's a whole thing.
Yeah. When did you start drinking? Were you 17, 16, 15?
I wish. Oh, thanks for thinking I'm that young. I appreciate it. Look at us. We shop at the same place. Well, my journey was my parents were crazy, alcoholics and all that, and so I rebelled against them and became Mormon. And I was just like, I'll show you, because you can't rebel when your parents are partiers, and just party. You got to go the other way. So I went the other way, went down that road. And for a long time, 7-8 years, and then I found comedy in New York and all that stuff. And then I felt like I think I was like 26 or so, and so I had to make up for my early 20s. And so that's what ended up happening. I was like, we got time to make up, boys. Here we go. And comedy's, it's just infused with alcohol. It's the one art form where they pair it perfectly in a way that's good and bad. Where it's just 2-drink minimum. It's, after your show, there's always a bar. If they like you, sometimes they send free drinks to the stage, and you're just, so alcohol is just everywhere all the time. And so to not be a part of that is just ridiculous. And so I definitely jumped in all the way with that. And so,
I say all the time that I think comedy, choose an addiction and comedy will help fuel it. Alcohol, of course, as you covered. Drugs, I mean, same kind of scenario of like you start doing comedy. A lot of comedians are doing drugs, although less so nowadays or as people get older. But people are always handing you drugs after the show.
That's fine.
Yeah, or the sound guy's got a bag of Coke. It's always I'm a gambling addict, and you're gonna do casinos. I'm at the when does this come out? I'm currently right now, and this come out in Las Vegas at the Rio at the Comedy Cellar. So for 7 days.
I was with a friend of mine, man, and it's like he was losing like $300,000 at the table, and I was just like, good gosh, like I couldn't even like put my head around it, and it's just like it's this. I mean, that's. But the thing is, I think Norm Macdonald has a joke too, where it's like it's the only addiction where sometimes you win. Yeah. So I never did shots at the bar and been like, hey, I guess now I can pay my rent if this third one hits.
Yeah. True, but you don't leave after you get rent. Trust me. You're not like, we're flush, guys. Let's leave here. I can pay rent, my electric bill, and my phone bill. Yeah, that's not how your brains work. But I was even thinking like food addiction, love it, like anything is. I just feel like comedy is like, because it's, before this I was a marine biologist and I didn't have to wear a suit to work, but I had to show up exactly on time every day. I had to be ready to go. Or like having meetings, talking about data, working in a lab, getting on a boat. It was just there's a lot of day-to-day responsibilities. Whereas we talked about at the beginning, and You have no boss, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
know?
I mean that's amazing because I feel like if you were to ask any 18-year-old what they want to do, I think about a lot of them would say marine biologist. I felt there was a time when that was a popular thing. People were like,
Yeah.
I want to be a marine biologist. It seemed like the coolest thing. Like you just got a jet ski and just out there saving a whale.
Shit.
It just seemed like this badass thing.
A jet ski
You're
is like so
strapped up.
anti-marine
Yeah.
biology. Yeah.
You're just strapped up with like dolphin, stuff. And I don't know. It just seemed like the coolest thing.
Look, I loved the job.
Yeah.
I think, by the way, I think most people stop saying they want to be in marine biology the first time they sit down and during chemistry 101 and they're like, what the fuck is this? Where's the sea lion I'm getting the pet? I didn't know I had to learn about carbon, but once, if you're lucky enough to graduate and get a cool job, I worked on boats. I was on boats. I don't know, especially the early years, 50 to 80% of the time I was on a boat at my job. Now, you're also on a boat when it's lightning and it's raining and it's cold and, it sucks and stuff, but you're still on a boat eating a sandwich at lunch, just looking out at the ocean. It's pretty dope, So.
Yeah, well, that's what my comedy career has turned into. I got like tons of cruises coming up. I'm going to be on a boat all the time, starting in July.
So you're basically a marine biologist now, so you're pretty much.
Well, those people are pretty fat, so yeah.
I just added to your resume, marine biologist.
It's a whale.
So you said your parents were partiers.
Yeah.
Like, that is funny. Like, you can't rebel. But when you say like they just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's for you to say or not, but like, do you believe they were addicts as well? Or is that?
Yeah, absolutely. This whole family of addicts, biker bar. I grew up at a biker bar. Like we were little kids hanging out at a biker bar that turned into a strip club, and just watching all this happen all the time, just sitting there playing pinball, seeing people wasted, stabbing each other, going crazy, like just chaos, as a child, seeing stuff way too early, I think is part of this journey of madness. But just great cocaine
Stabbing?
and bikers, dude, like that's what happens, bro. It's you slept with somebody's chick or what? I mean, there was a couple instances like that for sure. Yeah, stab shootings too, and like my dad carried a gun. There was always something. It's like
I mean, stabbings is so, man. That's got to be the worst.
It's so biker though. You always got a blade when you're a biker. Gun, you can do time for that. You can get away with the blade. So that's your weapon of choice when you're strapped on your Harley.
Do you drive? Did you end up driving a motorcycle? Was that?
I'm a motorcycle guy. I mean, I love it. Yeah, I went through a little phase. Yeah, I had a Harley and stuff. I mean, I'd like to get another one out here in LA. It'd be great.
That's gotta be like drunk driving on a motorcycle. It's bad enough in a car, but
I did that once. That is rough. Yeah,
but drinking drugs. I never really thought about that because bikers, a lot of bikers drink a lot or do drugs. Or then you get on a bike.
It's just the most suicide thing you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in a car, you get a little bit of blockage.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have a windshield, I don't know. I've never ridden.
I know what you're saying. If you've flown off, maybe you're better off than if you're just in a cage. I don't know. I don't want to do either one, but my brother did like 3 years in prison for DUIs, so I try to stay away from anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's a rough one. Maybe they could do a MythBusters if they bring that show back. What's it better to drive drunk in a car or a motorcycle? Let's see.
I would say car. I think, dude, you're just mangled on a bike, man.
Yeah. So you're pretty open about your addiction. Obviously, I mean, you're doing a podcast about it, but I mean, like, it seems like you've talked about it before, or is that?
Yeah, it's it's like it's part of my life, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. I think it's a good source of my comedy. Is a little bit of just getting sober and staying sober, and like the contradictions of how society views it, and different things. And then you just move to different addictions. It becomes goes from like alcohol and cocaine to donuts and, coffee and, whatever. We're always just moving to other things,
Yeah, yeah,
dogs, whatever. Like, it's just, you just move into addiction. There's never any moderate life at all. It's always just like, extreme, extreme, extreme.
yeah.
But
No, 100%. And so, does that manifest in any ways that are like quote unquote healthy or like positive, like the addictions, or do you like?
what do you mean?
I mean, I for instance was about, I don't know, 7 or 8 weeks ago, the fattest I've ever been. And then because I was living in the desert, it just started, it just so happened that I couldn't even get to like shitty food because I was way down a dirt road and didn't have like a vehicle to get. So I just started cooking like healthy and drinking water and hiking and stuff. And I've just started losing weight. And then I just said, okay, well, now that I'm doing it, I'm going to do it. So
Yeah.
my addictive brain, or the OCD part of my brain, it just kind of clicked in, like, and it's happened before too. It's like, we're going to be obsessed with like losing the weight and getting in shape. So that's what I mean. Like that kind of,
Yeah, I mean, well, it's funny you said that because one of my big bits is like we're always addicted to things that are bad for us. It's always cigarettes and drugs, and never anything good. I'd love to be addicted to Brussels sprouts or financial planning. You know what I mean? It's never like somebody always says they're addicted to good stuff. There's that guy's like, I'm addicted to exercise. I'm like, shut up, dude. I never blacked out and woke up with abs, on a treadmill with one shoe. You know what I mean?
yeah,
This
yeah,
is crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I want to be addicted to writing better jokes and, and locking myself in and like, going crazy. And it's hard, man. It's like, but, I think I go in phases. That's my biggest thing is just consistency, man. It's like, cause I love the gym. I love working out. I love eating healthy and all that, but it's like 3 days. And then it depends who's around me. That's a bit, my girl's a comic also, and she's with her parents now in Maine right now, but it's like I'm by myself. That's a true test of who you are, is like,
yeah,
I think, when you're by yourself, because like the first night she left, I'm going to Del Taco, I'm eating just crap, and I felt
yeah,
terrible. I mean, my stomach exploded. It was horrible. And then now I'm slowly like, okay, just because she's gone doesn't mean you have to go off the rails and like just eat horrible. But it's
yeah.
tough. I think it's tough.
No, that's 100%. When I am in a relationship versus not being in a relationship, it seems it's a much healthier. And I think a lot of times, like, especially as a guy, they'll attribute it's because there's a woman involved. But I know plenty of women that, if left to their own devices, are dirtbags too. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
mostly dudes, but yeah,
I think the accountability though is helpful that way. So,
absolutely.
but consistency is a good word. Yeah, consistency is, man, that is a really good word, because I feel like as an addict, that is the hardest thing, to be consistent with stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's why sobriety's so good, for us or me or whatever. Is just like, it's something that it's the one thing I've done for a solid amount of time. Like every single day I've done this,
Yeah,
stayed sober. Every single day I've made this important, I have not fallen off this particular, thing that I set out to do. Everything else, I got a script with 20 pages. I got, I should be in better shape. I have no business eating some of the stuff I eat. It's like, all these other things, special I should be writing and doing, or, other things that I've just kind of blown off. But the sobriety has been the one thing. So I think that's what makes it so important, because that's why it's good to celebrate it, and it's good to be around other addicts, and it's good to talk about it, because it's the big deal. Because without that, I mean, I would just be dead probably. I mean, I had a pretty bad road, so this really
yeah.
helped.
And some people get not. I don't think people get mad directly at people. Someone will post, like my friend posted the other day. He was 5 years sober, and everyone said nice things, underneath there for the most part. But I know that sometimes people are like, "Oh, you think you're better?" Like sometimes people look at that as an affront against them, even if they're not an addict.
Oh
Like, why
yeah.
do we have to hear about that, or what do we care? And it's just like, you don't have to hear. You don't even have to like care about it. But you said it perfectly. It's like you have to. We're celebrating. I mean, it's not a small feat, and also, yeah, you're reminding yourself more than anything, like, to get.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're definitely better than other people that aren't sober,
Yeah.
but The
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
the point is to no, but it's yeah. But if you're getting weirded out, then you probably have a crazy problem, and so you're probably it's triggering something in you if that makes you angry. Like it
Yeah.
shouldn't make you angry. It's like people that get mad over Martin Luther King Day. They're like, why do we got to celebrate? It's like, all right, dude. Like you know what I mean? Like it's the same kind of mentality. Let people enjoy what they need to enjoy.
Yeah. We got it. You thought there were good people on both sides of Charlottesville. We understand.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
like,
But
yeah.
yeah, but it's just like that. Yeah.
And I thought like it's I mean, everyone gets angry about something, and I think most of the time when you look just about, I'm not talking about like a fight, like personal thing, spat or something like that with a significant other or something, but I'm just talking about like about general subjects like that. And a lot of times, almost always, if you look, it's just because there's something internally with you
Oh
in
yeah.
that sub that you're not dealing with. I mean, it's a classic one. Is it just seems like every single politician that is against, gay rights and gay marriage ends up being gay. Like it's just almost 100% they're batting,
Oh yeah,
Um,
or they're just hating themselves because they have the feelings or whatever, and they're just like
yeah,
that's how they squash their own feelings is by hurting others that are
yeah,
open about it.
yeah. We are superior. That's right, aren't
We
we?
are,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, at least we're honest, I don't know. After a while, I enjoy, just kind of being around drunk people. Like I enjoy it. Like a lot of, they always say that thing, like stay out of the barber shop. You don't want a haircut. There's all those ridiculous bumper stickers in AA,
yeah,
but those phrases. But I enjoy it because I get to see what it looks like.
yeah,
When you're just because I had two speeds. I was either like breakdancing, being like ridiculous, or I was, let's go, man. I will knock you out. Like it was two speeds. So to be around and watch it happen and see me be like, oh, thank God I don't do that anymore. Thank God I
yes,
don't just 0 to 100 like that. And I mean, breakdance, I could breakdance without being drunk. I can still have fun and be a silly guy. I could still, I don't have to be
yeah,
wasted to do that. This time there's
yeah,
music, but yeah.
yeah. I 1,000. I love. It sounds terrible to say. I love seeing complete degenerate gamblers in casinos because for the exact same reason. And if we're talking about meetings and stuff like that, exact same reason when you see a new person walk in, you're like, yeah, all right, let's hear it. Because I think sometimes people, they ask me, are you okay working in a casino? Are you okay doing it? I'm like, it's not proximity. I can gamble anywhere. I can gamble at a gas station,
Oh,
scratchers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
gamble on your phone, dude. Come on.
yeah, at phone. Yeah. Talked about 1,000 times on this podcast. You can gamble. You quicker to gamble than any other addiction if you want to. It's right there. But, I like see it. So I have friends that gamble and they're very kind about it. They're like, oh, we're for instance in Vegas. Is it okay if I gamble? And I'm like, and some of them are sober, like they don't drink. I'm like, I'm gonna have a drink and watch you gamble,
Yeah.
And I also like seeing people that gamble normally and just I'm blown away by it. Because they're just like, well, that's all for tonight. And I'm like, what? I was like, that's all you're gonna $200? Like, okay, loser. But no, I just it boggles my mind. So I love to see the other thing too. There was one time I was open for Jim Jeffries. Or I used to open for him a lot more, but occasionally I still do now. And we were in Vegas and we decided to do mushrooms. And he's sober now. He's so well at the time he was doing mushrooms, I guess, but he stopped drinking now for well, and that's a whole other ball of wax that I never try to get into on this show anymore about is California sober, but anyways, we did some mushrooms. This is years ago, and he wanted to go to New York because he wanted to ride the roller coaster, and I was like, I don't think you want to really do that. I think you want to do that, but he said no, I want to do it. So we got into a cab, me, him, a couple other people. And we got to the casino, and as soon as we walked into New York with we were going to go to the roller coaster, I guess just a wall hit him, and he was like, yeah, we can't go on this roller coaster. I go, yeah, no, and I'm aware of that. And he goes, but we have to gamble because it's rude that we just came in here and didn't gamble. Like this mentality on mushrooms that like, they're going to, like, I don't want to be rude. Like he really thought that it would be rude to leave.
That's
And I said, all right, let's go ahead. You gamble, I'll just hang out. So we go to a table, and there is a guy playing at this table that is definitely a gambling addict. I mean, I can tell you reasons why, but it's like, how do you, if you're an addict, or you've been an addict, you know the signs right away.
Sure.
One of them is he is freaking out over every loss, like just completely. And I felt bad for him though, because his life was falling apart. It was like, this was all the money he had, and he was probably like, doubling down, tripling down to get back to even. And then my friend Jim is sitting across the table on mushrooms, having the time of his life on mushrooms, winning, not knowing what he didn't even know what the cards were. Sometimes he was like, should I hit? I can't even, and just getting a pile of money. And I was just like, I felt bad for him, but at the same time, it was like, it's one of those things you said. I'm like, I'm enjoying watching this too, And then I remember at the end, Jim he just brought it up to the casino cage, and he just dumped all the chips there. And he goes, did I win, to like a complete stranger? And she goes, I don't know, honey. I was like, you won, dude. You did good.
That's hilarious.
So, but yeah, I love seeing that kind of shit. So I guess it's weird to say you love it.
Yeah, no. Well, it reminds you, where you can go. So it's important to see that.
It's weird to tell that story about being on mushrooms, but it's not my problem. So the problem wasn't drugs. Also, I don't know if anyone's ever been addicted to mushrooms. I'm sure.
I think that's well, mushrooms. I'm talking about, it'd be hard to do that on the regular. Like it's like you got to come. It takes a few days to calm down from that. Like it's a lot.
I think if you were addicted to mushrooms, you'd lose your job faster than any other addiction. Like it wouldn't be.
Yeah. That's
like you can get by on alcohol, some other drug stuff, but mushrooms, you can't just keep showing up to work on mushrooms.
What's Jerry doing? He keeps touching everybody's face. I don't know. Everybody that comes in, he just touches their face. What is going on with Jerry? Like, yeah, it'd be stuff like that. Yeah,
I get it. You love me, and why is this so funny?
It'd be that kind of stuff.
Doesn't stop laughing the entire. It's not that funny. You work at a funeral home. Yeah.
That's where you need to do drugs. Imagine that. Just seeing dead people all day. You're like, golly.
Yeah. That's
be hard.
That's a weird one too.
Yeah. I mean, it's good money. I'd love to. I mean, it's like, that's a solid. Talk about a job that never ends. I mean,
is it good money? Is it good?
Oh, yeah.
I know it never ends, but
yeah. I mean, if you have your own funeral home that's getting consistent, you get, probably location to location, I guess, certain places get more, I don't know, but everybody dies. So there's always somebody. I'm sure.
Retirement community. You're crushing it.
Oh, Boca. Are you kidding me? If you had a funeral home in Boca, I mean, come on, that's hand over fist.
Yeah. And you're right. It's not like you don't even know what the prices are supposed to be. It's not like you call up somebody who's like, yo, what does it cost to be cremated? Like
$11,000. You're like, okay, you wouldn't question that. You don't know what that's, you're not in a haggling mood,
Yeah. You could. Yeah. And they always try to upsell you on stuff too, no matter what it is. They don't want you to be cremated. I know that.
Yeah. You're not searching for a Groupon in that moment. Like you're pretty, you're pretty bad place.
There's some truck backing up here. I don't know if you can hear it. We'll hear on that. We'll see if I can hear it.
It's LA, dude. It's like what it is.
Yeah.
You're lucky he's not throwing a bottle through your window, man.
Yeah. I'm in Canada. So
you're in Canada. You're in Edmonton. That's the Oilers. Good job.
I'm from Miami originally. So,
are you really? Oh, so you're.
Yeah. If you are a hockey fan,
that was good. They won, right?
again.
Florida. That was pretty great.
The last thing anybody wanted is another Florida team to win the Stanley Cup. It's like, yeah.
Well, they must have bought that team, right? They bought it from someone.
No, they had some free agents and stuff, but Barry Zito, the general manager, he's built it over the course of about 5-6 years.
So it wasn't like the Stars; they just bought a Minnesota team or something.
You know what? I'd have to see who I know they drafted a lot of the players, but they've also got they got Brad Marchand in the middle of the season. And he was cast away by the
so it wasn't an expansion team. It was just good from the ground.
Yeah, yeah. No, their expansion team a long time ago. They sucked for a long time.
Okay.
They had 1 year back in the late 90s when they had Van Beesbroek as goalie, and they got to the finals. They got swept. That was the first time. But And that was I don't know, they throw the rats on the ice. It came from that year because Scott Mellenby, they were on a losing streak in that season, and a rat ran across. They had a real shitty arena back in the day, and a rat ran across the locker room, and he took his hockey stick and like slap shot it against the wall and killed it. And literally from that point on, they had the best record in the NHL. They went to the Stanley Cup final. So that's what the tradition is. I don't know if anyone's ever watched a game. They throw the rats on the ice. Oh. They're plastic rats.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always wonder, like, because they sell all these rats around the arena when you walk in, and for $1, $2, whatever they cost and stuff. But then they scoop them up in the ice, and there must be like this surplus of just plastic rats in the garbage. You would think, speaking of businesses, come on, resell those rats. You wash them off.
Well, Tennessee, they got a hockey team. Don't they throw catfish on the ice or something? Like actual like real catfish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. Stupid thing.
That's wasteful. Not that I'm going to need catfish, but I'm not going to eat a rat either. So I guess you could throw live rats.
Catfish is good, man.
Yeah. Live rats would be way more, it'd be way scarier for the opposing team. They're like, oh shit, here they come.
Terrifying. Can you imagine? Just the crowd just throwing rats on oh man, that's wild. Yeah.
Do you have any particular like stories, like war stories or anything like that like you think about? Like, I mean, you're a comedian, so time plus, what is it? The fucking tragedy plus time kind of thing. Is there any particular stories or story that you have that's like you look back and you're like, yeah, that's funny now, but at the time was just a complete, shit show?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty funny guy, but I think I drank away probably the prime years of when I could have taken a turn in this business. And so I have, some moments that probably weren't good moments for my comedy. I remember one time I used to run the Boston Comedy Club in New York, and it was like the last couple of years of that. And it was like the cellar was like the cellar, but then there was where everybody got good, and that was the Boston Comedy Club. And it was just like Patrice and well, here's the thing, Greg Giraldo was my sponsor, so that tells you anything about the craziness of my life, to lose one of the greatest comedians that ever grabbed the mic, and he's your sponsor, and you lose him to how we lost him. Is pretty wild.
Yeah.
But one time the club was closing, and they screwed me over. It was like a whole thing, and nobody told me what was going on, and I was, half drunk or whatever. And then they were doing a roast, and it was like all these Barry Katz people, and Barry Katz was there, and all these like NBC executives, and all the comics in New York and whatever. And I just broke up with my girlfriend, and she was an idiot, and I was pissed off and whatever. And I was just probably 2 whiskey bottles, man. I was in hard. And that's the thing. That's the thing about comedy. We drank back what we deserve to be paid. There's unlimited booze. And so it's like, blah, blah, blah. So I think Ben Bailey was on stage, and he was like roasting, Barry Katz in the club and whatever. Anyway, I went up, and there was no reason for me to be up. I was way too drunk to go up, and I'm just like insulting everybody in the room, and I'm just like telling Barry Katz, like, you're an idiot. It's like, that's why Chappelle fired you, and like, you don't know anything about comedy, and like, you brought us Dat Fan. You have nothing. You can never tell us anything about this business. And just going, I mean, just everything that was inside of my inside voice just came out. And I'm just, and everybody's there. They had to drag me off the thing. No, another thing, motherfucker. I'm like trying to get back into the mic. Just crazy.
I know one thing that the comedians probably enjoyed that though.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still a punchline, but I
good meltdown.
Talks about it. Comedians I had a few of those meltdowns, and it's stuff like that. I think there's clubs I can't go back to. Because I was just way too drunk. And now, even after like 17 years, I try to get back into some of these clubs a couple of years ago. And they're like, nah, man, we don't trust, we know what you did. We don't trust that it's not going to happen again.
Well, and I know you're been sober this long, or you say that?
Or? That's how bad it was.
Wow.
Like Alaska, like crap. It's Alaska, dude. Like, are you kidding me? I can't get back into an Alaska room. How bad was it? You sold booze that night. I know that. That was the whole
That's
audience
pretty funny. You
sent me shots.
From the Alaska rooms.
They were sending me shots all night, and I was like, "Of course I'm going to drink them. I'm not a wuss. I'm not one of those comics. Hey man, make sure it's iced tea in there. Like, give me a shot. I'm not going to shoot a shot, bro." I was never that fake comic. I hate that. Now I see people, who pretend to take shots on stage because that was part of their thing back in the day. And so somebody will send them a shot and they don't know they're sober or something, and then they just do like iced tea or whatever. It's like, just say I don't drink. Like, stupid.
They don't want to give up the image.
Shut up. Like, even fucking, it's like, ugh, that's so.
Yeah.
I think Ron White does that still. Certain people do it. You're just like, what are you doing, dude? Nobody cares if you.
But Ron White's talked about it. He talked about it. I remember hearing about it on Tom Segura's podcast. I mean, there's a lot of people listening to that. He talked about doing ayahuasca and quitting drinking. And so, but people don't watch everything. So I guess you can keep doing. For him, it's like a timing thing. I always thought, like the glass.
Yeah. Well, I think before they actually quit, I think they were slowing down with stuff. But it's like, even Stanhope does that. And Stanhope still drinks. I know that. Yeah. I know he still drinks. And he would just tell him, like, you can't just keep sending me regular shots,
Yeah. But it's okay if you don't. You can just say, I just mentioned Jim. I mean, I know him really well. He stopped drinking. He talked about it in a special. Some people were like, oh, pussy, whatever. And he's like, dude. Yeah, I got kids. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. He's not as funny, but he's he's good.
If he watches this, I know how fragile his ego's going to be. He won't watch this podcast. So he doesn't watch.
Well, some guy, no,
I'll pass it along to him.
You should. No, but he's a guy that's like, it sucks because he could pull it off, and he's a genius, and so. There's certain guys that are geniuses like that. Stanhope is a genius. Jim Jeffries is a genius. Like, there's certain guys that they could be wasted and just have these phenomenal,
amazing
sets. And so, it's like, and it became part of the identity. He's up there. He's on a special with a beer in his hand. So it's it's like it becomes a thing. And then eventually you can't just keep doing that.
Yeah, but I've seen him do it, and I'm always like. I've seen him do stuff, and I only had to do 15 minutes in front of him where I was like, I couldn't do it. I was like so trashed. And I was like, I don't know what gear you're pulling, but
everybody gets sober eventually. I think. It's like I opened for Bragazzi, and it's like we used to go crazy together and party and stuff, and then now it's like he's been sober probably about 8 years now, and his life just boom. Blew up because of it, the focus and the energy, and we should just waste so much energy. That's what it does too. You get to a certain age where you're just like, what are you doing, dude? Especially if you're married or whatever. Like, what are you doing? It's like, it's not, it's great when you're single and you're 20 or 30. It's great. It's like, if I was sober, if I was single and 30, I'd be, why wouldn't I drink? I don't even, it's like,
I don't even like historically, I know Nate a little bit, not well, but I know a little bit. And I worked with him way back when he was like co-headlining with my buddy Al Jackson in Miami. So that's how far back, know. But I never looked at him as like a drinker, but it is interesting you say that. It's like he stopped, and now, I mean, he's arguably one of the biggest comics in the world now. And it's like,
oh, he was a drinker.
Yeah. So, but it's funny. Like you just, it wasn't part of his identity though. I mean,
Oh, it was off stage. Yeah. Oh, we had a good time. Yeah. It's all or nothing with these,
It's golf now, right? Plays golf.
Well, that's what you do. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The addiction, it goes somewhere else. Yeah. Definitely golf now.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
McDonald's or whatever, it becomes something else that's bad for you. But, me talks.
Mine is getting healthy. No, it's not. Well, it is right now, but we'll see.
You look good. Man. Yeah, the skin looks good.
Oh, thanks. I think I feel good. It is interesting. I've only drank water. I had one drink the other night. I've already talked about it. Like I do an intro now Trump's podcast that I had somebody pass away in my family, and my cousin was in town. I had like one drink with him. Other than that, I've drank pretty much water for the last 7 or 8, almost 8 weeks. And it's amazing how good you feel if you just do that. Just that. Like, I don't even care what else you do. Just drink water. I was like, I wake up in the morning, like, oh, that's good. And I feel good. And my skin looks better. I think you were making a joke. Maybe you weren't. It looks better to me, but
I don't make jokes like that, man. Your skin looks great.
So, look,
I
there's
don't
one thing I
compliment
don't
another
joke about
man.
it.
I don't compliment another. I don't roast you until I know you. Until
Yeah.
we've spent hours and hours together. I don't.
I
I
don't
don't
joke
never.
about dermatology. So
Yeah.
it's the fine
Easy,
line.
buddy. Easy. Slow it down. Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. Just going back to the roasting scenario you were talking about. What was the name of the club after it was Boston Comedy Club? It was something else.
Oh, Comedy Village.
Comedy Village. Yeah. When I started, I there was 1 year, I want to say I was like 3 years in the comedy maybe. And I went up to New York and I went purposely between Christmas and New Year's because I figured comics wouldn't be there and I might be able to get sets.
That's
And I did an open mic at Comedy Village, formerly the Boston Comedy Club. And one of the guys that was in charge of, it was a comic too, but did some of the booking. He said, "Hey, do you want to do spots the rest of the week?" I had like a good set. And I said, "Sure." So he goes, "This is what you got to do. You got to go in the corner and bark."
yeah.
If people don't listening to this, don't know what barking is, you're just advertising the comedy club, yelling out to people to go there, handing out flyers. And I had to do the check spot too. I didn't give a shit. I was 3 years in. I was my first time in New York. I'm like, whatever you need me to do. But they made me go. The corner I had to go bark on was I could literally see the Comedy Cellar. It might have been 50 feet away from me. And so everybody was like, "We're already going." And I'm like, "No, that away." And and by the way, it was all really good comics, but it's like you said, all really good comics that were like on their way.
Yeah.
Like all those comics I remember working with are really like big or really big. I can't remember anyone's name.
Yeah.
Who the fuck was in there? Oh man, I can't remember. Chris Stefano, I think, was in there. Maybe like Greer Barnes was always there.
Vecchione, a couple guys.
Yeah, Vecchione and Joe DeRosa, like all these people. Yeah. But that I was trying to remember the name of it, so I had to ask you. I could have asked you off air, but it's my fucking podcast. I do whatever I want.
You do whatever you want, man. There's no rules, buddy. You just go all in.
What are we looking at for time here? All right. I'm no, because I don't like the podcast to go. It makes it sound. I told you
it's going well when the host is like, "Okay,
no. I want to play these. I want to play these TikTok clips, but I want to make sure we have time, and because I still got to ask you.
This is hilarious. This whole concept is like funny. Like you're like, yeah, I drank, but gambling was my thing, and it's just very funny. Like it's. I'm just trying.
Well, I mean, because I have people on. I've had people on that are gambling addicts too. Okay. So and then we're in the thick of it then. But I've had a lot of alcoholics on. I've had I think cocaine usually goes hand in hand with alcohol. I've had one other comic on. It was mainly meth, like speed and coke and stuff like that. But I mean, cigarettes, as I went on for cigarettes. So but I still think if you're an addict, you can talk about addiction. What's that?
I miss cigarettes the most.
Yeah,
I love cigarettes. I love them.
I did not give it its due, and then that was a great episode with John Hastings. I don't even know him, and it was a really good episode because I never really, it's just such a normalized thing. You're like, yeah, fucking cigarettes, and then you talk to someone, you're like, yeah, it sucks. It's like it still affects your life, the way that you behave, the way you act, your time, all this shit.
Yeah,
money.
I don't mind being addicted to things. See, that's the thing is I don't see it as misery or like white knuckling or whatever. Like I could still reminisce and enjoy the love affair of addiction and just be like, oh boy, I used to love, because my girlfriend and I, we'd have cigarettes and coffee together. And it's just like, it was great. We'd sit there and just smoke and drink coffee and get to know each other. Like there's a lot of, kind of moments that I enjoyed with addiction, Cocaine was like great because it's like, you'd be sitting there like with Geraldo or something and you're doing coke with guys like that and you're writing bits and like talking about comedy and like, just the intensity is hard to get from like a sugar-free Red Bull, like.
Yeah. Well, I don't say that I hate again. I never say that I hate again because that's part of the deal.
But like you were saying with Hastings, how he's the miserable or whatever, saying that it was tough or what,
Oh no, I think he still will romanticize it if he's talking about. Yeah. My point was I always look at cigarettes like whatever cigarettes, like it's no big deal, but it is a big deal. I mean, what it costs alone, like, you add it up. It's like,
it kills a lot of people too. Like it's,
that as well. But yeah, no, as far as the podcast, I figured addiction is addiction. It's different, but I think, I think that that you can. I've had a lot of people on too that are alcoholics, and
Yeah.
then they've told me like, I didn't think I was in the gambling, then I did it, and then I was like, oh, this is a problem, like, because there's so much of that
Yeah, I
in our
know I'm
DNA.
not. Yeah, I know I'm okay with the gambling. When somebody gave me $1,000 about 3 days ago at the table, and then I was like, I should bet about 100. And I was like, okay, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah. That's very sensible. That's yeah.
I was like,
That
yep,
I
I'm
can't
going on.
fathom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going on a trip. Need this. See ya.
Yeah. So you're the guy that's like, I won my rent. I'm out of there. Yeah. Cool.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah. I
Yeah.
wish it was just
That's
1,000, but yeah.
I envy that. I wish I could be that way.
I wish I could have a
Okay.
drink. I wish I could have one drink.
So I'm gonna play a couple clips here. There's this woman called the Hangover Whisperer on TikTok, and this is kind of like what she talks about, anyways. There was like a point where my friend said, if you just played real poker, not like the table games poker that they have at casino, like they're called carnival games where it's like not really poker, but the rules are poker. But if you play real poker, he goes, but it's actually strategy and you're going against people and it's much slower. And he was trying to convince me that might help me curb gambling. And I was like, I'll just go all in I'm not, it doesn't matter. Like the action won't be enough for me. So there's this woman and she claims, we'll watch a couple of clips, but she claims, she goes, she's definitely was an alcoholic. She says she was, but then she says, hey, you should be able to drink normally. This whole thing where if you're an alcoholic, you can't drink. And I don't know. I say all the time on here, do whatever works for you. I'm not going to judge you. But I do think if you are definitely addicted to something that in my experience, you can't just do it a little, But
well, some people can, like you have one drink that I was trying to get to, where it's just like,
but I'm not.
Yeah.
But I've never had a problem with alcohol, so
no, but just the idea and of people drinking one drink just feels when you're.
Oh yeah. No, but she says without a doubt, she goes, I'm an alcoholic.
Oh,
like
okay.
she's basically telling.
It's okay to be an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I get it.
And
well, it is. And, I mean, without alcoholism, I mean, there's no art.
True. So her name's the Hangover Whisperer.
Right.
She's a mindful drinking coach.
Let's see her art.
Yeah. She goes, get happy, not sober. That's what her motto is.
Okay. I hate this already. What
do you she has a free consult, so you already know what's going on here.
I hate all of this. This is
for women only. She only deals with women.
This is what's ruining the world. Whatever we're about to watch is ruining everything.
Here we go. I think you can see this now. Are we ready?
Nice green eyes. Those got to be fake.
Okay. Can someone please explain to me why AA is recommended by most doctors and court-ordered when you get a DUI? AA is based on the Big Book, which cites not one scientific study. The Big Book is a spiritual and moral manifesto written by a privileged white guy in 1939. Before we even knew about neuroplasticity or neurotransmitters or how the mind and body are affected by cognitive dissonance. Some guy just decided that alcoholism is an incurable disease. And now 100 years later, we all believe that's a fact. And there have been so many studies that have tried to link AA to positive long-term outcomes. They can't do it, which is why judges and doctors and mental health experts need to start doing their homework and stop forcing people into programs that probably aren't going to work for them. If you or someone you love is struggling with alcoholism, I understand the desire to do something to just make it stop. Just consider that conventional wisdom produces conventional results. Follow my account if you're looking for an alternative approach. And I have a podcast called It's Not About the Alcohol. Can someone please
going
explain
on forever? Oh my gosh! I mean, I think the Botox is messing with her brain. I think it's.
I just realized why she does those spinny cuts is because she can't remember the lines long enough because it doesn't flow well. She's like that. It's like she's starting a new sentence instead of continuing.
She's reading a thing.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, she's exactly right. Of course, AA is ridiculous. Of course, it's dumb. So is yoga and meditation. So is, just drinking a lot of water. Like, okay, whatever. You think you're going to live longer? Like anybody can do anything to anything. You know what I mean? They can make something seem like BS or whatever. I mean, I don't. That doesn't. I get it. Because let me finish. The thing is like I feel like I don't do AA like probably the way they want you to do it. where I'm not, it's like they tell you to go to meetings all the time, do all the steps and all that stuff. I don't do it that way. It was good for me in the second year, it was great. And then I kind of just do my own thing because I think it's like I find my way to make it work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And sorry to interrupt you there, but yeah, that was what I was going to say is that's a continual theme, no matter what the addiction we're talking about is. Find your path to what works.
Yeah.
And it's a recipe. Everyone's recipe is different, so you throw a little bit of this in, a little bit of that, you take from this. Sometimes you lean on that more than the other, and then you don't need that, anymore. So
people say, like, my sponsor told me to stop doing comedy. And I got rid of him. I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, yeah, comedy's, it's causing too many problems and whatever. And I said, what am I going to do? I'll die without comedy. I go, this is the most cathartic thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to just not do that part. The part that I can't drink and have fun anymore. So I'm going to take the other thing that brings joy to my life away. So yeah, people do stupid stuff and you got to like make it work for you.
Yeah.
But
that's why I started this podcast. Cause I talk about addiction on stage, and then people will come up to me afterwards and say, oh, I really appreciate you talking about that, like and saying that and being like, vulnerable about it on stage. I was like, vulnerable, I don't know, I'm dead inside, but but her thing is, I can't stand people that are going to take this super hard line about thing that has worked for many people, whether there's statistics that she needs to see or not, and then just at the end say, by the way, if you need a consultation, I'm here. If she said, hey, it didn't work for me, you got to find your own thing, I could help you. But she's like, fuck you, fuck this. It's just like, fuck off. It's like, and one of the first comments here is somebody that wrote, Carl Jung corresponded with AA founder Bill Wilson after 6 months. About 6 months before Jung's death, Jung proposed the concept of a spiritual solution. AA's 12 steps have roots in Jung's analytical psychology and also mirror foundational processes of self-development and healing taught by many great traditions. He goes on there too. I don't know if that's true or not. It seems that would be a really tough comment to write if it wasn't. But
yeah, but and I don't go to meetings all the time. I went to one the other day. There's a really cool one at a comedy club, and it's like all these big stars and talking about. It's fun because it becomes like this kind of sad green room, and then we decide to talk about just all the ridiculousness of comedy, which is a whole nother thing. Like, to be sober and be a comedian is a different life than being sober and being an accountant, And so it's like, for me, to be around a bunch of other sober comedians is everything, because they know what I'm going through, what it feels like to, like I said in the beginning, where you're at a bar all the time and shots and people, and then the rejection of comedy is just brutal. And so to be able to talk about that with other comedians that are also going through it, so that it really helps me,
That's awesome. Yeah. All the comedians I met that have gambling problems either weren't dealing with them or, there's just not that many that are out about, I mean,
well, gambling's a tricky one because people, like, if you're rich, like my friend that's rich, it's like, $300,000 is like $30 to him. It's nothing. And so it's like when, it really depends who you are financially sometimes. And so it's easy, or you just don't. Looking on the outside, sometimes we don't see it as a thing, whereas when it's something you're really struggling with, it's like, because it's not so outward. When you're drunk, you could tell that you're drunk. You're doing the drugs. Like, it's very,
that's part of it.
It's very much, you're in it and you see it. People see it. You don't see the gambling really that much.
No, yeah, it's hidden. It's a hidden, but Rich really doesn't have anything to do with it. I mean, Bruno Mars has a gambling addiction problem, and he is basically at this point, doing shows for MGM because he owes them money. Now he's in a place where he can continue to make a lot of money, and if he decided, hey, and somebody, I don't know who's surrounding him, his inner circle, but they're clearly not helping. But if somebody was like, hey, you need to stop this shit right now. You've lost however many hundreds of millions of dollars.
Mean, it's still Bruno Mars. That dude could do a pop-up tour and make like $6 million in like 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
I know, but he'll gamble that, Yeah,
and, I didn't know I didn't know he was that bad, but
Well, I happen to know that somehow. I'm not going to say how, but I do. And I also heard he's bad at gambling. Like I heard like
Yeah.
like hitting on 17s, and he's like, the amount that you're gambling is like, it's like your friend that you said. It would blow your mind away, you know?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I think that eventually it all catches up, because it's like any addiction, you ramp up. You're like 300,000 won't be enough for your friends soon, but if they still have the source of income coming in, sure. But you know, Charles Barkley certainly should have a lot more money. John Daly should have a lot more money. They're still rich technically, but if they, you know, if that TNT thing show just stopped, she better stop gambling. Money's got, it'll be fun. But yeah, I know people that were worth maybe 50, 60 million dollars. They have nothing now, you know. So
No,
it's
I mean,
all relevant.
if you don't have like a rotation of money, for sure, you know. Like,
Yeah. If you're not addicted to financial planning, as you said, you know. So,
well, you know, and a team around you is good too. I mean, this particular person I'm talking about, there's a team that limits the money. There's a team that like makes sure that, you know, it's flowing. There's a team that's investing all the time and making the money turn around. So yeah, there's all that stuff. And I mean, Bruno Mars is, you know, his name's Bruno Mars. I mean, how's it? You can't be that good with money. You know what I mean? Like, so your name is Bruno Mars. You're probably not taking care of stuff you should be taking care of.
One word to describe Bruno Mars, I'd say frugal.
He's wearing like, you know what I mean? He's wearing like $9,000 pants. You're like, yeah, it's like the rock star thing is a whole nother thing. MC Hammer, all those guys lost all their money because they're just crazy, you know. It's like with the money, and it's they don't get it.
He you ever seen him live, Bruno Mars?
I'd love to. I like him. Yeah, he's great.
The first time I was gonna see him live, I gave my ticket to a friend's friend so they could go, and I literally sat at a slot machine, not gambling, in a casino, waiting for them to get out at the MGM, whatever. And then I got to see him eventually, and it's like, man, he's talented. There's like certain people in the world that you're like, yeah, are you like the most talented person in the world? You know, it's he's like in that Jamie Foxx level where you're just like, oh, you're good at everything.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He's I like that. What's that loungy album he did with that other guy? I don't know. It's like a
Anderson .Paak.
Yeah, great. That album. That album's fantastic.
Yeah, no, he's you're seeing that video of him when he was a kid at it's the NFL All-Star game, because they used to play it in Hawaii all the time, you know? And he came out, he's like 5 or 6 or so. He's really little, and he's like, he's out there, and you're already like, what the fuck is that? Like, who the hell is that? He was talented enough that the NFL hired him to do the halftime at the All-Star game, and he was, you know, he didn't even have like pubic hair yet, you know, it was just this little kid.
It's great.
So I don't know why that's a reference I made. That sounds really creepy. Yeah, there's the clip, baby. Let's put it out there. Algorithms. All right. This is the second show that I'm going to do that I've done this. It's called 8 Lucky Questions. Last episode was the first episode I did this. And I said, you know what? I gotta send these to the guests ahead of time. I sent these to Dustin about 4 minutes before I started taping. So
I have them up on my thing. I've only read the first one. So
okay. The first one's probably the hardest one to do off the cuff. So that's good. Here we go. 8 lucky questions. If your addiction had a theme song, what would it be?
Your addiction had a theme song. Yeah. Oh, see, I read it differently. I read it to if you're
what theme song are you addicted to?
No, I read it like your recovery had a theme song. What would it be? That's how I read it. That's so funny.
Oh, I should. Yeah. Well, one of the questions I do it. It's an addiction and a recovery question, but maybe that's a better one.
I don't know, because if I were to say recovery, it would be Mary Tyler Moore. You know, theme song. You're gonna make it after all. Like that whole like you're gonna make it after all. Addiction had a theme song.
But the theme song, it can be a regular song. It doesn't have to be an actual theme song. It's just the theme to your addiction.
I always liked Mr. Brownstone. I always thought that was a great that was a great song about heroin. And I think I could apply that to whiskey and cocaine, which is my thing. And so I think it would Mr. Brownstone, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good one. It's just a different hole that you're putting things into.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Mr. Brownstone, Guns N' Roses. All right. What's a small thing that someone did that helped you more than they know, actually?
In addiction or just anything?
I think recovery of addiction. Yeah, I would say recovery. But it could be anything. I didn't actually specify. So yeah. You're making me see that these questions are flawed. I have to rewrite them now. I'm like, all right, okay. If your addiction had a theme
I'm
song,
just
it doesn't
very
have to
bad
be a
at
theme.
school. Like I was, art is the only thing I can do. I did that or did my album cover, but well, for comedy, this is what somebody said to me once, and they said you're more interesting than your act. And when that was said to me, it changed how I saw my comedy, and so how I was able to kind of pull from my life and stuff like that. So not this but with addiction, I think just people kind of not saying too much helped in the beginning, where they were just kind of like, are you okay, checking in and not necessarily preaching to me, and kind of like, hey man, if you need anything, I got you, like things like that, like people just being concerned and knowing that they were there for me in a way, helped, instead of people saying, hey dude, you're a loser, you just like quit drinking, it's like the approach, I think, is everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And honestly, the comedy answer, I think, ties into addiction anyways, because I'm sure that's what, what you lean on. You were like, oh yeah, I am. All this stuff is interesting. And you say, you told me you do all these jokes and talk about it on stage.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like, my comedy got so much better once I got sober, because I mean, I was on stage repeating jokes. I was like just getting in fist fights with the audience. I mean, it was bad, just racist for no reason, just saying stupid shit on stage.
Stabbed a few people just for old school, for reminiscing.
No stabbing, but I did get in fist fights, guys rushing the stage and stuff. And
you win?
Nah, not really. Well, I'm a boxing family, so we know how to take a punch, my family.
Yeah. What's the dumbest excuse you've ever told yourself to justify your addiction?
She likes me.
That's good. I don't even know what you mean by she. You could be talking about cocaine or alcohol or a woman. So it's like,
I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you think is the worst addiction?
Being mean.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
Being a dickhead.
Yeah. I think that's the worst addiction, man. Just being mean to people and being rude and, like the Karen mentality, like just being an awful person, I think, is the worst addiction. Because I know people that are doing all kinds of drugs that are sweethearts and doing all kinds of, things they shouldn't be doing to themselves, but they're kind. And so I think people that just, I guess I think that's, even when I was messed up or whatever, I was still tried to be good to people,
Yeah, there are people that are addicted to being mean. I never even thought about it, but you meet these people and you're like, oh, this is just what you want to do.
Yeah.
This is how you want to be.
They get off on it, I mean, anger is something different. We all go to a place in anger, but it's like, I don't know. I think with thing that's happening right now in the world, I don't want to get too political, but I feel like a lot of the people that are supporting the things that are happening, that are coming okay being, not compassionate and not kind and not, they're okay with it. And I think that's a terrible addiction.
Yeah.
Especially if you call yourself a Christian, which don't get me going down that road. But
I don't call myself a Christian, but it's
no, but a lot of those people do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's like, Christ was, he was a dude. He was a dude like us, and he was just nice to people, and people wrote it down and exaggerated a few things, and then here we are. But ultimately, he was just a dude that was nice.
A lot of people don't know this, but Jesus was actually a compulsive gambler. So,
well, that's why he threw over the tables in the temple. He was like,
that's why they put him on the cross too.
That's supposed to be my hand.
He owed some money. They put him on a cross. Then all of a sudden he paid. That's weird.
Italians, am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. What one word would you use to describe your addiction? That's supposed to be your.
What one word would you describe your addiction? Sadness, just sad. Just like I was just, really traumatized as a child, and I don't know. Addiction was just a way to kind of cope, and then people would lift me with it. Just camaraderie of people and just kind of a family. Like I didn't have a good family. And so sometimes addiction became your family. It's like that was the best part of addiction. It's like you walk into a bar, you're like, hey, what's up? The whole cheers thing, and everybody's just like, let's go. And, I think that is just, but that comes from just needing more. So sad.
And then what about your recovery? It's one word.
One word, resilience, I guess.
Resilience. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm just thinking back about how I stepped on your Jesus joke by accident, and I wish I didn't. So
you're fine, dude.
No. I'm just saying from a podcast standpoint, I'm upset. I'm like, fuck. God, I just care about the content. I don't care about you.
Well, you're a comic, and so sometimes podcasts, if you watch all the podcasts, the hardest thing for us to do is to not step because we're used to the ones talking, and so we're comics, and so it's hard to, it's like my podcast. I yell at him all the time. I go, "Let me talk." So, all right, so recovery. What are we doing now?
What's your proudest moment in recovery so far?
Just sticking with it, just consistency of just, doing it. That's my proudest moment. Just like
17 years. Yeah.
17 years without relapsing and just staying strong. I think that's my proudest moment.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. What's the worst advice someone gave you while you were struggling?
You want a bump?
This will help. Yeah.
This is help. This will be good. I think kind of with that chick, you don't need AA and stuff, and therapy's stupid, and AA is stupid, and you don't need to do that stuff. You could do that on your own. I think I had some pretty kind of, manly men types, and they just, therapy and the idea of group or anything like that was weak. And so I think all that stuff helped me. I do therapy every week, and whatever. It's like all that I think has really helped me, and I hate it when people think that you don't need that stuff.
Yeah. Find your own recipe, which I just made up this podcast. Never said that before, but I feel like I'm going to make it into a bumper.
Good. I think it's going to be your angle a little bit.
Yeah.
Thing.
A little bit of this, a dash of. All right. Last question. What advice do you have for someone that is struggling?
Yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to people that you see are doing, dealing with this stuff, because that's what we're here for. Anybody that's trying to overcome addiction is ready to help other people. It helps us help you. And so never feel like you can't ask somebody, who's especially somebody that's you see, in a program or doing or talking about it openly. And like, I think that's the best thing you can do is just ask. And I ended up asking people. I'd be like, hey man, can you take me to a meeting? I don't know how to do this. Can you, comics, there's always a comic in recovery, and be like, hey, and then, the comic ended up helping me, and then other comics and, that kind of thing. So just asking people, not being afraid or ashamed. It's like, not a big deal, man. It's like, how do we not become addicted? You know what I mean? The way we're raised, and it's like the 80s and 90s, it's all ridiculous, man. It's like, not a big deal. Just get help when you know you've gone too far.
Yeah, and I think people are reluctant to normally because they think it's going to be this really complicated thing, and it's hard. It's hard to get something. You have to put the work in, but it's simple. The concept of what you're supposed to do, and your life has been so fucked up. No matter what your addiction is, that you just think like, well, I'm coming from this, so now I'm gonna have to this. But yeah, just reach out to people, and they'll show you the way how to do it, because it's and again, the way they might show you might not be exactly for you, but I'm sure you'll garner something from it. Even that woman has something valid to say if she's not shilling like for her fucking product, whatever. I'm still assuming there's going to be something positive from her.
Yeah. Well, it's just like with like, the way the world is right now, it's just like I don't stand on one side or the other, and I think when people do that, that's when it's a problem. Like you have to see the world as a bigger thing. And it's like something like addiction is a way bigger than you're putting it. You're narrowing it down into like, that's BS and this is all you need to do. And it's like, it's not that simple. And so you can't look at life like that. And
that's that ego shit. The ego's what got, the egos fucks you up so bad. And then sometimes people that are even sober will give you that ego. It's like, do what works for you.
I mean, it's like her ideology of the whole thing is like, okay, like if your back hurts and you go to a chiropractor, that's not a doctor. but they, you know, they can help your back. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Saying that's, you know, she's using all these things about, it's not a doctor. It's like,
she's like, you don't need to see a chiropractor. What you need to do is lift less. Okay. Which is not false, but it's not wrong, but it's like, it's not the whole picture either.
Yeah. So, it's like, if you can drink less, then you don't have a problem. And then you're not even in this conversation. Like, that's, who's she talking to? Is she talking to the guy that's in court, the court ordered guy that she talks about? Like, it's, you know, is that who she's talking to?
The guy that fights on stage at a comedy club.
Hey,
God forbid.
It's a good set. You know what it was? I blame Brian Regan. We did shots. There were too many shots before I had a show, and that man can put them back. That's a big boy. He's a big man.
Yeah, all the clean comics you're talking about today. Awesome. Thank you for being here, Dustin. If you want to check out Dustin on stage, go check out his Instagram. It's at Dustin_Chafin. Again, that's CHAFIN. Check him. Look for him on the WTF podcast with Mark Maron. There's not a lot of those left, so he got in there under the gun.
Pretty excited.
And his podcast, Chasing Comedy, he talked about it. I know he had 3 names, and I don't want to butcher his name.
Brian Scott McFadden.
Scott McFadden, who I'm envious of his career, even though he might be envious of mine. Who knows? Probably not. Sounds like
I haven't talked to you.
Sounds like he's crushing it. But
it was an M&M. I always tell him, I said, dude, it's like you have M&M. You have a peanut M&M money. So
yeah, he's the B. As soon as you said the B, I'm like, I already know the guy. I know his. Thanks for being here, dude. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. It was fun. We got through it. I loved it.
All right. Thanks to Dustin Chafin for being here again. That was dope. Consistency. I think that's what I'm going to title this podcast. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm sure you do. I write, I've got a problem. And then episode, I forget how I title it on the person's name, but then in parentheses, I always put a word that I'm reminded of while I'm doing the podcast or some sort of theme. And I think consistency is this one. So that's why I always do that. We talked a lot about consistency. We didn't talk a lot about it. It was mentioned a lot. We talked a little bit about it, but I think that is such a key thing with addiction, is being consistent, and with anything in life, like we were talking about, you just got to be consistently doing something in order to succeed at it. And so if you are an addict and you're struggling with things, just remember, be consistent. That's important. Now, my dad, I said I'd mention a little bit more, but I wanted to wait to this part because, I don't know how much my dad was on this podcast. Maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I brought him on to see if he was a gambling addict. I thought he was, he wasn't. And I made a joke, well, I can't blame this on you, but I'll find a way to do that anyways. I didn't have a really close relationship with my dad. I didn't start talking to him. I mean, it wasn't really my volition. My dad was not really in my life by his own accord, really, his own decisions and the decisions he made for that to be. And then so I guess 7 years ago, I reached out to him. I was going to therapy and I thought I didn't care, but I was harboring all this anger. I reached out to my dad, reestablished a relationship with him. I met up with him a couple of times. I visited him last year on my road trip on the way to Florida and Alabama. And we weren't best friends, but one of the important things that happened was I let go of all the anger I had about him. I did that when I saw him for the first time in New Orleans. He got out of the car and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? This is an old man, you know? So I let that go. And I didn't talk to him all the time because we'd had a complicated relationship and it wasn't clearly defined what we're even doing now. But I know that he was happy that I reached out to him, and I know he was happy to have the relationship that we had. And I was too. And I think it was beneficial to both of us. That being said, at the end of every podcast, I always give out numbers, crisis hotlines, 988 for USA, 988 for Canada, and so on. He took his own life. Now, he's an old man. That doesn't make it any less shocking or sad or tragic. It was shocking to me when I found out. I was shocked there that he was dead because I didn't know anything he had wrong with health. In fact, I used to make a joke. I don't know if I ever recorded it. I guess I did. Where I said, if I was going to meet my dad, the only thing I'd want to talk to him about, I would ask him just to see if he had any health issues, like those forms you fill out when you go to a doctor, any history of diabetes, any history of cancer, you know. And then he told me one day, he goes, just so you know, I don't have any health issues. So that doesn't mean he didn't have something, but that's not the gist of, he left a note, stuff like that. And that's not the gist of, I think he was just a sad, lonely person. But, and I think that was due to anger. I think he was an angry person. He had a rough life. He was abused when he was younger, and then he continued on that path. And he continued on with his anger. Even when I visited him last year, he wasn't angry at me, but he was angry at somebody else, and I could still see that was there. And I say that as a cautionary tale, where I'm just like, he ended up alone, and sad, and took his own life. And so I know I always make jokes at the end, because I'm like, hey, if you waited this long, but for the numbers, but I think it's an apropos, is it the right word, place to put this and say that, because I wasn't even close to my dad, and it's still fucked up, because it's just shocking. Even everyone I've told, I haven't even told a lot of people, I'm saying it on the podcast now, but when I've been talking to my close friends, I eventually, if somebody calls me, I have to say it. I'm not going to be like, well, I forgot to tell you that. But I always am hesitant when they ask, well, what happened? And I'm like, because then it's always like, what the fuck? Even people that didn't know him are like, what? So what I want to say is, if you're ever feeling like that, just know that, you're going to leave a huge, like, just a wake of destructiveness, like, if you do that. And I'm not really talking about myself. I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt me, but there are people in my family now that are fucked, and even though he was 78 years old, about to be 79 in a few weeks, it doesn't matter, because then you start doing that thing. What could I have done wrong? Was it this? Was it that? And it's never that. It's always about them, So anyways, take care of yourselves. Call the number. Unless you're in Germany, you are fucked. I'm sorry. That's just the country you chose to live in. That's a 55-digit number. Just talk to someone while you're getting a bratwurst or something. But reach out to people. And that's all I have to say. Sorry to end on such a fucked up note, but this is a podcast about addiction, so we do talk about fucked up shit for sure, or like serious stuff. Fucked up shit is such a childish way to say it. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Love you guys. See you next week.